Pam.
Well, Kevin, this will not be any sort of trap game for the 49ers. That's because they feel like they know what's coming. As John alluded to, San Francisco 49ers defensive end Justin Smith believes that the Rams will give them all they can take, that the 49ers will have their hands full with this team because they come in treated like a grudge match every single time. Record and circumstances aside, he feels that the Rams always give it their best and that they have to come in, be physical, be strong, and match their energy because he said they're a very, very physical team and we have to match it. So they get their props, Kevin, from the 49ers. Back to you.
Yeah, and what did Jeff Fisher tell us yesterday, Pam? We're physical right now, and no one wants to play us. And even though they're 2-5, I would tend to agree they can get after it. But they won the toss, they defer, and so Greg Zuerlein will kick it off. Ellington will take it, and the 49ers will start on their own 20-yard line behind Colin Kaepernick, who is maybe having his best season, and he had his best game of the year when they played St. Louis a few weeks ago.
And Kevin, I think in that game you saw what I think is really symbolic of his season. He is really developing. He's emerging as a pocket passer who happens to be a terrific athlete. When he puts all that together, he is tough to deal with.
And so the 49ers, who were just manhandled in Denver a couple weeks ago, 42-17, have their bye, rested and ready to go. Motion Davis in the backfield, and here's Frank Gore on first down, and Gore not much doing, maybe a yard on first down. Well, when you look at this game, I think you look at a couple things, John. St. Louis cannot stop the run, and the 49ers are more pass-heavy than they've been, but you have the sense that this points in the direction of getting Frank Gore going.
I think after a bye week, good opportunity to look at yourself. And while the Niners have been passing more weapons, Kaepernick's development, as Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator, said, we've got to get back to imposing our will on people. Look for Gore to be heavily involved today.
And they're going to fire it out to Ellington, who gets a good block outside, and Bruce Ellington up around the first down near the 30. We'll see the spot, and he should have it. When you look at that number that we showed you, the 49ers last year ran the ball 53% of the time. That was #1 in the league. 46% this year is 8th in the league, and I think there's a couple of reasons to that. First of all, they have more weapons. Second of all, you try to save Gore a little bit if you can. Even though he's still great, you want to kind of save him for a playoff run.
I think more than anything, we just saw the spread look that they've been featuring a lot. You've got Stevie Johnson, you've got Brandon Lloyd to add to Bolden and Michael Crabtree. It's a heck of a group, but you can't forget who you are, and the 49ers are a tough physical team.
And we got our first flag of the day. The 49ers have been heavily penalized this year. It's been one of their bugaboos. Our lead referee is Jerome Boger in his 9th season.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's actually on 99, Aaron Donald, the rookie from Pittsburgh.
This is something you're seeing more throughout the league, the hard count from the shotgun. And always remember my old defensive coordinator now down in Dallas. For those guys, just watch the ball. Don't listen to the quarterback. Watch the ball. But Aaron Donald, he'll learn that.
And to give to Gore. Gore gets a block. Nice cut back. Frank Gore's got a first down. Gore's all the way up to the 44-yard line. It's a 9-yard run before he is brought down. Nice block by Anthony Davis, too.
And watch Mike Iupati back from a concussion, kicking out T.J. McDonald. You give Frank Gore just the smallest of cracks. He's got a great ability to find them and then fall forward.
Well, talked about Davis, talked about Iupati. First NFL start today for Marcus Martin at center, number 66. Guy who has been hurt. He injured his kneecap in the preseason. But with Daniel Kilgore going down with an injury in the Denver game, not only making his first start, his NFL debut, and he's 20 years old. So we'll watch him tonight. Kaepernick fires a seed over the middle, and it's caught by Kaepernick for another first down. He's down to the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 15.
Wonderful protection up front for the 49ers, a group that is getting healthy. And then, I know he's right-handed, but that looks like a Madison Bumgarner fastball. Kaepernick showing off that highly potent arm of his.
Carlos Hyde in the game, the rookie from Ohio State. He's played about 38% of the snaps at running back this year. Look to set it up on a swing pass. Nice catch. And a good move by Hyde, who muscles down to the 35. So he's got a 6-yard gain on first down.
Real nice job by Colin Kaepernick. The Rams are going to try to muddy the looks, try to disguise the looks. They feel like they can do that with Kaepernick. They're going to bring the pressure off the edge. You see gains the corner. Kaepernick recognizes it, throws it to the void in the zone to Hyde and gets positive yards. Really nice job by Kaepernick.
There's a late flag that came in on a late hit. And the 49ers going to add additional yardage after this play to Hyde. Didn't see that flag on the field at all, John.
Nor did I. Watch at the end of this play.
Let's see.
It's Eugene Sims, 97, coming in there late.
That's McDonald, backup tight end, in motion. And they come left to Frank Gore, and he goes nowhere. Nicely defensed by St. Louis. Alex Carrington, Alec Ogletree combining on the stop. So these 49ers come in at 4-3. They played a game 2 weeks ago that they got smoked, 42-17 in Denver. But there was so much else in play that night. It almost just seemed like no one would win that game, right?
Yeah, I think there was a special vibe in the air. Peyton Manning on the verge of breaking one of the most coveted records in the history of this game. And they ran into a buzzsaw in Denver. But I think they're going to grow from it. And this is a team with players coming back. As I said in the open, poised, I believe, to make a run here.
Niners go spread with 5 wide on the play. Blitz coming. Kaepernick gets rid, almost intercepted. Almost intercepted by the rookie LaMarcus Joyner. Rams are really high on this guy. He's a safety corner hybrid.
Well, I'm really high on this guy. You turn on the tape, and all you see is this guy making plays. He's a good, solid tackler. He attacks the football well. That's a big-time player there, Anquan Bolden. LaMarcus Joyner not playing scared, trusting his eyes, making a great break on the football.
He played both corner and safety at Florida State. He's done a little bit of both here. On 3rd and 10, San Francisco goes with an empty set. They got Frank Gore lined up at the bottom of your screen. Only 3 on the clock here for Kaepernick, and he realizes it. He's got to call timeout. So after a good drive, the 49ers find themselves in a 3rd and 10. They call their first timeout to talk about it here. Opening drive, 49ers threatening here in Northern California.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
3rd and 10 for San Francisco on the opening drive. With Carlos Hyde in the game, and this is a big spot because Jeff Fisher told us the most important thing, biggest challenge is the Rams' 3rd down defense, where they have not been good this year. Kaepernick with time, firing for the end zone, and he had Crabtree, but he overthrew him just a little bit, and now it'll be a Phil Dawson field goal try.
Kaepernick taking a shot down the field, and really not a smart one. He had safety help, did the corner over the top. He tries to sink one in to Crabtree. Did a nice job, though, of making it Crabtree's or no one throwing it out of bounds.
This is Phil Dawson, who is ageless at 39 years old. Guy still hits field goals from 50 yards and up like it's no problem. This one is much closer, 39 yards, the hold of Andy Lee. And offsides here, look like, as Darren Bates tried to get a little head start. Let's see. Hey, he got up there, though, John.
Well, we've heard about all the fakes coming from St. Louis.
Defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if there was a basketball rim there, he could have done a windmill
Correction,
dunk.
number 53.
That's a new one. I have not seen that one. And I'll tell you, Kevin, on this drive alone, the 15-yard penalty, now this 5-yard penalty, when you're an undermanned team, injured like the St. Louis Rams are, you can't make mistakes like that. They've done it twice on this drive already.
Well, that makes it now a 34-yard field goal for Dawson. He was 13 of 16 on the year.
Cover the center!
Hold of Andy Lee. And Dawson pushes it up and through. And so the 49ers drive down the field, score with 3 on the opening drive, and a 3-0 49ers here in the first. Different digs for the 49ers this year. They've moved from Candlestick Park, and they've moved about 45 minutes away down the bay to Santa Clara. And the Rams will receive the kickoff into the 49ers field goal. It's been a long time since they've had one return for a touchdown. But Benny Cunningham's had a couple of big returns this year. 75-yarder, and last week over 40 yards against Kansas City. Short kick, and this one up to the 25, where the Rams will take over and have their first possession of the day behind Austin Davis. Quite a story for him to get here, but coming off his worst performance of the year in that loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and they became very one-dimensional in that second half against the Chiefs, and the pressure from Justin Houston, Tamba Hali overwhelmed him. But he's been pretty consistent, Kevin. I think he's played very well. One of the most consistent players for the St. Louis Rams. There's Sam Bradford.
Meanwhile, the Rams have a 3-back rotation, but Trey Mason is the guy that gets the fake here. They're coming near side on the reverse to Austin, and it's pretty well defensed by San Francisco, as Antoine Bethea, free agent safety, coming over from the Colts, made a stop.
You're going to see Tavon Austin a little more with the injury to Brian Quick, but when 11 is in on defense, you should be saying something's up. When he's in, they're generally going to get the football to him or use him as a ghost, as a decoy. 11's in, your antenna should go up.
Talking about Trey Mason, number 27, the rookie from Auburn. He made his NFL debut against the 49ers in Week 6. This one tipped in the air and knocked down. It was Aaron Lynch who has really come on, the rookie from South Florida, 5th-round draft pick. And a 3rd down coming up.
The 49ers like the big players with length, and Aaron Lynch fits that bill. 6'5", 265 pounds. Playing more and more, just doing a nice job. Davis trying to get it to the flat. Get your hands up, deflects it.
Third down, 6. Pressure. Davis is just going to throw it on away. Aaron Lynch again coming through the gap and pressuring Davis, and a 3-and-out for St. Louis.
Watch Aaron Lynch. He's going to loop around here on the TE game, coming unimpeded. That flushes Austin Davis to his right, and a nice job of plastering the coverage by the secondary of the 49ers. Aaron Lynch making his presence known early in this game.
Meanwhile, Johnny Hecker will punt it away, and there's been a lot of talk about him and his throwing because he's been great on fake punts, but he's a heck of a punter. He was an all-pro last year. There's a high, booming kick. Ellington over the shoulder. Reverses field. Couple nice cuts by Bruce Ellington to get it out across the 20 to the 22. And when we come back, a little fist bumping from Harbaugh. Colin Kaepernick gets the ball. His 49ers have 3-0 over the Rams in the first.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Find the best deals at pizzahut.com. By the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. And by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Second possession for the 49ers on their own 23-yard line. They've got a Phil Dawson field goal and a 3-0 lead. And Kaepernick on the fake has a man wide open. It's Anquan Boldin. And Boldin putting that shoulder down, met at the 35 and plowing forward to the 36. Rodney McLeod, the safety, on the coverage.
It's one thing in watching this Rams defense. Couple things. They're young and they're extremely aggressive. So what do? You take advantage of it. The play action, misdirection type plays give these guys a hard time. Kaepernick with the hard play action. Boldin to the flat.
San Francisco team is a little different than what you're used to seeing, just because they have a lot more options this year. I mean, they really do. Stevie Johnson having an outstanding year. They signed Brandon Lloyd, who's been just a home run hitter, and he's at the bottom of your screen right now. On first down, pressure. Kaepernick in trouble, and down he goes. William Hayes came in and got the sack for Hayes. That's his first sack of the year.
Hayes is going to work against Anthony Davis up top. This is a Rams team who only has 7 sacks on the season. 5 of those, Kevin, though, have come in the last 2 games. So this rush, this vaunted pass rush, is starting to heat up.
This is a team, John, that was 3rd in the NFL in sacks last year with 53, and you hit it 6 total. But you've seen some signs now the last couple of weeks that they're waking up. That makes it a 2nd and 17. Again, San Francisco going with the spread. Kaepernick all kinds of time. Near side and nearly intercepted. Alec Ogletree got his hand on it. And now a 3rd and 17.
A real nice play by Alec Ogletree, Kevin. But if he doesn't get this, Robertson right here, he's taking this to the house. You watch him make this break. He's going to come off his coverage. And if Ogletree doesn't tip that,
you're right.
Roberson's going the other way.
Rams without their perhaps best corner today in Janoris Jenkins, who is inactive again because of a right knee injury suffered a couple weeks ago. Low snap, blitz, Cap's going to run, dragged down from behind, and now we get a flag. Aaron Donald got his hands on the shoulders of Kaepernick to drag him down. Let's see what the flag in the backfield is. Thrown back at the 21-yard line.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 75. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, that's going to be a punt. That's what that's going to be. So the Rams defense holds after the sack from Hayes.
Alex Boone has his hands full with that young man right there, Aaron Donald. Turn it on the tape, Kevin. You see 99, and at times, don't want to make any comparisons, but at times he resembles a guy I played with that wore 99 who's bust resigns in Canton right now, Warren Sapp, a very impressive young player.
Lee, not a great punt, usually terrific, but that time a little short. Bounces out of bounds, and the Rams will have decent field position. Rams defense does their job. 49ers up 3-0, 7:28 to go in the first. Patrick Willis looks great in the hat, but not on game day. I'll tell you that. And he is out for the 2nd straight week with a toe injury. Tremaine Brock, who came back from a toe injury and played at Denver, out again, and then Janoris Jenkins out for the Rams. So those are the big inactives, but each team has a couple other big players that are hurt too. As here's Mason, the rookie from Auburn, and he's going to fall forward for a gain of 4. You know, we told you that the 49ers are going with a rookie center today, and Marcus Martin. Well, guess what? The Rams have a rookie left tackle. And there he is, Greg Robinson. He one of the many 16 roster moves this week. You ever seen anything like that?
Crazy week for Jeff Fisher, Les Snead, the general manager. They're a team that's injured, they're busted up, but they made their moves, and they're very confident in this team they have out there.
Here is Mason, and he's met by Will Hoyt and shoved backward. He's going to be about a yard shy of a 1st down. This Trey Mason's intriguing. You know, they drafted him out of Auburn in the 3rd round. And this is a guy that was a Heisman Trophy finalist at Auburn, SEC's leading rusher. And he's been in this 3-back mix. But I don't know, when you watch him, he looks like he's got something to him.
Well, Jeff Fisher gave me a little heads up. We're going to cut him loose today, and I think we're going to see a lot of Trey Mason. I think he's going to emerge as the lead back with Stacy and Cunningham as complementary backs.
It's a 3rd and 1. Blitz coming. It's picked up, and they've got a 1st down. Over the middle to Bailey, and Mason did a great job to pick up the blitz.
So always the concern, Kevin, when you have a young back in, is the ability to pick up the blitz. And watch Trey Mason right here. Going to step up, get Will Hoyt, and that gives Austin Davis the time to scan the field. Going through his progression, coming back to his 3rd read. Very nice execution by the Rams on 3rd down.
And Bailey going to get some more time at wide receiver. You talked about Brian Quick, John. He was their leading receiver and hurt his shoulder. And now, did the Rams move, or did Ray McDonald jump off sides? So Quick, who was having a breakout year, out for the year. They lost Jake Long, their left tackle, last week. He's out for the year. That's why Robinson is playing left tackle today.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 91. Moving into the neutral zone early, causing a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So that's on McDonald, and that'll give it to a 1st and 5. But yeah, I mean, this Rams team has really been kind of snake bit. I mean, 2 years in a row, Sam Bradford's gotten hurt with another ACL on the same leg, and no matter what you're doing, it's kind of hard when the guy you hope is your franchise quarterback just can't get on the field. 1st down and 5, and indeed it's Mason again. Gets to the edge and runs over Wilhoit for a 1st down.
This is what Tre Mason brings to you. He brings the quickness. What I like, he's patient at the beginning of runs, finds the cut, and then he finishes runs. He runs behind those pads. That's physical football, and that's what they like about Tre Mason.
That's impressive from Mason. He came in a short sample size, averaging 5.2 a carry. 3 carries, 15 yards so far today. Rams have a couple of 1st downs, and this time it's not going to work. 49ers up to the task that time. It was Chris Borland who's playing today for Patrick Willis.
Watch Chris Borland right here. This is how you play linebacker. This looks like Patrick Willis getting in their backfield. They're going to pull players. Go ahead, get in their backfield and make a tackle for the loss. Chris Borland, a tackling machine at Wisconsin, introducing himself to Tre Mason.
Patrick Willis, he was really literally up to a game time decision. You know, I mean, he wanted to play, but with that toe, it's so difficult. We're going to give it one more week to heal. 2nd and 12. 4-man rush. You got to run. A lot of room for Davis, who slides down, but we get a penalty flag on the field on the near side. And look at the turf that just came up when Davis slid down. He could have gotten hurt there the way he kind of went into that grass.
Doing the run, holding. Defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty adds it into the run. Automatic 1st down.
It's on Jimmy Ward, the rookie, against Austin.
And you watch the slide. Austin Davis, that turf just catches him up, and boy, a bunch of that divot in there. I think he's got a knee brace on as well, and having to readjust that knee brace. Austin Davis, but boy, he needs to talk to some baseball players. Get on that booty, not on that knee.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so discussing that, Shaun Hill, he's coming in the game. Now, I wonder if this is just to readjust that knee brace or if he really did get hurt. Shaun Hill actually started the 1st game after Bradford got hurt. Yeah, it looks like they're just readjusting the brace. Yeah, he just couldn't get it done in time. Sam Bradford got hurt in the preseason. Shaun Hill started the 1st game and got hurt, and that's when Davis came in. But at least for a play, it's Hill on a 1st and 10 from the 35. Mason. Tre Mason, he lowers that shoulder, met though right before the 30 and then shoved backwards. It was Bethea and Borland combining on the stop, and that was it. So the knee brace is adjusted and Davis comes on back in the game.
Tell you what, Kevin, I like the way this Tre Mason runs. He runs with authority. Not the biggest guy in the world, 5'8", 207 pounds. But I think everybody knows that except him. He's feisty, and he's trying to give it to these 49ers.
Well, John, he was inactive until that 49er game in week 6 because he's not a special teams player, and he was getting up to speed. Early on, he looks up to speed here. 2nd and 6, and the throw is caught by Cook. The tight end has it down to the 22-yard line, and Davis has some time to throw the ball.
See, this is another tight end they're so hard to match up with. You have Parrish Cox, who's leading the league in turnovers, 3 interceptions, but he can't match up with Jared Cook. The size differential, nice ball by Davis. Good execution by the Rams early.
It's the 9th play of the drive for St. Louis coming up. A jumbo formation to the right. It's just Kenny Britt lined up to the top of your screen. He's a big target. Davis, pressure comes, and throw is incomplete. Going on the cross for Kendricks, the tight end. Wilhoit on the coverage.
Well, they've got a new left tackle, the number 2 player in the draft, and they're very high on him, but watch Dan Skuta. Little inside move, different at guard than it is at tackle. Robinson's been at guard. His natural position is tackle, but a little rusty at the tackle position. Going to take some time, but they are high on this young man's future as well. They should be. I've been very impressed on film.
Second and 10. Four-man rush comes near side. Cook, what a tackle by Bethea. The safety knew it immediately, and a third down is coming up.
Antoine Bethea really effectively replacing Dante Whitner. And I've been, I think a lot of people up here, he's played well, but they missed that physicality of Whitner. There's that physicality, Bethea bringing some of it.
Two-time Pro Bowler. He's always been a good tackler. 3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Davis in trouble, and he just throws it out away. 49ers brought the house, and now St. Louis off to try for a field goal.
Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator from the 49ers, typically does not blitz a lot. He did in the first game against Austin Davis. Austin Davis only stands 6'2". It was a lot of pressure right up the gut to try to get him to flush. It works here on 3rd down, gets him off the field. Nice call by Vic Fangio.
This will be a 37-yard field goal for Greg Zuerlein, who has struggled past 50 yards, even though he's got a great leg, but inside he's been pretty sharp. Snap and hold are perfect, and so is the kick, and we're all tied up at 3. Here from Santa Clara, we got 1:20 to go in the first quarter. 49ers and Rams tied at 3. Some smiles, got great weather, great game so far. NFC West battle going on. '61-degree day, along with Pam Oliver and John Lynch. Mike Pereira, our lead official, back in the booth in LA. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Don't have to worry about the wind today, John. A little different here in Santa Clara, huh? The wind not whipping through this. The kickers must love it. It's like paradise compared to kicking a candlestick.
I think Phil Dawson is a happy man.
Oh, my goodness. Can't get a better day for football. Zuerlein kicks it off after his field goal tied it up at 3. And here's Ellington. They're running on out. Right around the 20-yard line, and that's where the 49ers will take over. Hey, you want big interviews and great highlights? Well, then tonight, be sure to turn to Fox Sports Live. They have a one-on-one conversation with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, plus recaps and analysis of a full day in the NFL. Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. So in the NFL today, Cardinals are now 7-1. The Dallas Cowboys, they beat them 28-17. You had, let's see, the Eagles going down to Houston, and Mark Sanchez, because Foles got hurt, they beat the Texans there. How about Miami? 37-0 over the Chargers, John. I didn't do that game. You and Sam had that game, but you like Miami, right?
They can play some defense, I'll tell you that. And Tannehill seems to be coming on at the quarterback position.
It's a heck of a win for them today. 3rd possession for San Francisco. They're going to give up the gut for a gain of 4. It was Carlos Hyde, tackled by Jolan Dunbar. Talking
to the great ex-49er Tom Rathman, who's the running back coach. He's a big fan of Carlos Hyde. He said, look, Frankie's still the guy, but Carlos Hyde, we've got a bright future in him. He's tough. He's smart. He likes everything about him. I said, what do you like? He said, what don't I? I like everything this young kid does.
What? 2nd and 6. You like the young kid, but you know what, John? The old guy can still get it done. First down, Frank Gore.
You can't ever forget about Old Faithful, and that's exactly what Frank Gore is and has been. Just an excellent back who's done it for a long time, has a great football instinct, kind of hides back there and then explodes, throws Ogletree out of the way, and gets downhill. Frank Gore does it so well, and he has for such a long time.
And he has owned the Rams, John. 1,229 career rush yards, 14 touchdowns against the Rams. It's the most by any player against the Rams in history. And that run will take us to the end of the first quarter. A lot of new faces for the Rams. Maybe they need a little introduction. Look out. Good first quarter here in Santa Clara. 3-3, 49ers and Rams after 1. We start the second quarter, bringing you at the line of scrimmage with Colin Kaepernick, and hand off to Frank Gore. And Gore is tackled at the line of scrimmage. So this first quarter, basically each team had one good drive and a field goal, and that's where we stand right now. It's been a good game. So, hey, it's good to see you. I'm Kevin. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. John Lynch
Good
is
to have
here.
you back from the baseball world.
You know, this it's kind of feeling each other out right now,
That's
right?
exactly what I was thinking. And I think both defenses are doing a nice job not allowing their opponent to establish a rhythm in the passing game. Some success running the football, but disrupting the pass game. And we'll see if Kaepernick can get it going. He's got so many weapons out there. We'll see if they can establish that rhythm.
A couple of fakes, pressure coming, and into the ground for Carlos Hyde. It just looked like Alec Ogletree was all over that play.
It's the right defense at the right time. Ogletree did a nice job of disguising the blitz. And I think Kaepernick. So Ogletree's going to come around the corner and watch Kaepernick. He's going to fake that reverse. He says, I can't do that, and then just throws it at the feet of Hyde. Actually a nice throwaway by Kaepernick.
I think you watched at home like, well, wait a second, because he was going to get crushed if he completed that pass.
That's right.
And so now a 3rd down and 10. This Greg Williams, first year as defensive coordinator. All know about him, of course, from Bounty Gate in New Orleans, but back on his feet leading this Rams D. On a 3rd and 10 for San Francisco. Blitz, Kaepernick in trouble, and down he goes. And the Rams have their 2nd sack of the day. It was Laurinaitis. I think Ogletree was there as well.
James Laurinaitis right here. They do a nice job of holding the look on this blitz. Gore can only pick up one. Kind of a jailbreak there, and Laurinaitis comes up with the sack.
So this Rams team, which was just non-existent with their pass rush after being 3rd in the league last year, last couple weeks has come on, and now 2 sacks today.
I'm talking to Jeff Fisher. He said we're kind of a victim of our own reputation as a pass rushing team. Teams are getting rid of the ball quick, max proing, and now it's starting to come together.
Austin over the shoulder, bobbles, recovers, and he shakes his way out to the 25. James Laurinaitis, been the veteran for this team in the middle. He's happy after that play. Rams football, 3-3 game. San Francisco 49ers are teamed up for a Field of Jeans donation drive in the lead up to the 49ers game on Sunday, November 2nd. All denim collected from the drive will be used to create a one-of-a-kind Field of Jeans at Levi Stadium, showcasing the thousands of jeans that kept out to landfills. Davis on 1st down. Intercepted. It's intercepted by Bethea. And Antoine Bethea picks up his 2nd pick of the year. And it puts San Francisco in great field position.
Well, Antoine Bethea just puts a veteran move. Watch him here in the flat. He's going to look like he's going short and then just back up right into it. A throw Austin Davis can't make, but he got baited into it by a very smart veteran player. Looked like he was going to go to the flat, then just backed up at the last second, and it got Austin Davis, a young quarterback.
That's the 16th career interception by Bethea, who signed a 4-year, $23 million deal to come over from the Colts, and now it puts San Francisco in great position at the St. Louis 35 and a 1st down coming up with Frank Gore in the backfield. The 3 tight ends in the game. On a fake pressure coming from Quinn. Kaepernick eludes, steps up, and is going to run. He has to now pass the line of scrimmage. Oh, Robert Quinn had that big old mid out ready to swipe that ball, but Kaepernick got away from it.
Robert Quinn, a vaunted pass rusher, had 19 sacks last year in 2013. He was slow to start this season, but like the rest of their front is coming on, and this is how he does it, just pure speed. Kaepernick, effective job of stepping up, but the Rams rally well.
And he runs, he has that right arm like in the sky, like ready to rip. Did that against Kansas City and forced an Alex Smith fumble a week ago. Rams are getting pressure. Already 2 sacks. Kaepernick swings it to Crabtree. Crabtree is tackled by Johnson. We've got our first game break. Let's head to Joel Klatt.
All right, Kevin, let's go up to Seattle. And amidst all the controversy with Marshawn Lynch, how about a little effort here? And that's right, beast mode goes full beast mode to get into the end zone. Hey, John Lynch, that's good for morale, isn't it? 7-3 Seahawks.
We got a lot of Lynches going on. We got Aaron Lynch here, Marshawn Lynch. Just give it to Lynch.
I like it. For Marshawn, that's his first rushing touchdown in 5 games, so he had been a little bit of a drought. On a 3rd down, Bruce Ellington in the game now, number 10, the rookie. And throw it. Kaepernick has a long time, and Francisco.
I think a nice adjustment by Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, struggling to get a rhythm going in the pass game. Again, I said earlier, misdirection with the young defense. Anquan Bolton, the veteran, kind of gets lost in the middle of that secondary. Roberson does the cardinal sin of getting his eyes in the backfield instead of having his man. Keep your eyes on your luggage, young man. Anquan Bolton takes advantage of it.
His luggage just got taken to the house. Extra point up by Dawson, and it's good. And so the turnover, the interception by Bethea, and the 49ers take advantage. Kaepernick, 27 yards to Anquan Bolton, and it's 10-3 San Francisco. Well, when your team's struggling, you can't turn the ball over, and that's what the Rams did. Antoine Bethea, his second interception on the Rams' first play of the drive, and then boom, on third down, Kaepernick to Bolden, who was wide open for a 27-yard touchdown. Second touchdown for Bolden on the year, number 12 for Colin Kaepernick. And kicking on off, Cunningham has a seam right side. Where'd everybody go? And Cunningham still going out across the 30. To the 32, Jimmy Ward on the stop.
Here's the turnover that led to the points, the touchdown. Antoine Bethea baiting Austin Davis into the pick. And Kevin, this has been a trend in this series.
And against the whole division. Look at this number. Last 16 home games in division. Plus 31 turnover differential and 152 points off those turnovers. I mean, that's like 10 points a game. That's an incredible number. And already taking advantage. So now first and 10 for St. Louis out to 32. It's Mason out to the 35. Reed on the tackle after a 3-yard gain.
Now, Kevin, you could feel it. People at home couldn't see it. They're in the last commercial. Prior to that Bethea commercial, they show the World Series champion Giants. And this stadium came alive. Then you have the pick. And all of a sudden, you got a loud stadium. So this is where the Rams, a young team, you got to stand up to that kind of momentum. And you got to answer. And you got to answer with points. And we'll see if Austin Davis, Trey Mason, et al. Can do that.
Mason again. And just stumbled and fell down. Tried to get to the edge. And couldn't get there, although he gets back up on his feet alertly and does end up picking up a couple yards. Bruce Bochy, who, well, he's never lost a postseason series as manager of the Giants. Brian Sabian's put together a wonderful team that's won 3 World Series titles in the last 5 years. Pretty impressive. Dynasty talk type stuff, obviously. I mean, when that kind of company. And John, you know what it was? You were right. They put up Pablo Sandoval on the board. Anytime you do that, nothing goes wrong. The guy just as clutch as it gets in the postseason. Third down and 5 for the Rams. Over the middle, and heck of a hit. The catch is Trey Watts, who was about the 4th or 5th running back on this team, but he's got a first down.
And Kevin, one area where Austin Davis has excelled is probably the toughest down in football in this league. Third down. He's got a quarterback rating north of 120, 5th in the NFL. And he talked about Brian Schottenheimer, giving him a huge hand in that. He said, when teams get complicated, we get simple. You saw a simple route there. They execute on third down.
On first down, almost intercepted again, and Bethea almost did it again. He was looking for Kenny Britt, veteran safety all over it.
I'll tell you, haven't played that position right now. Antoine Bethea is feasting on a young quarterback, and he's taking him to school. And Austin Davis has got to be careful. You got to be careful with your eyes. Antoine Bethea simply reading those eyes, trusting those instincts. He got him on one and nearly had another one.
It's a good year for the 49ers. Had an interception and a forced fumble against the Eagles here at Levi Stadium early. 2nd and 10. 4-man rush. Davis coming near side for Kenny Britt, who makes the catch amid good coverage by Culliver. And we'll see where they spot him. I think he had a first. And according to this spot, he's got it. Britt will pick up the needed yardage in 11.
Watch Kenny Britt working against Chris Culliver. Nice route. Comes back to the football. Well thrown football. by Austin Davis. Kevin, we saw Kenny Britt down on the field before the game, and I've seen him before, but I forgot. He looks like a tight end out there. That's a big, big wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a big guy. 6'3", 223. That's what he's listed at from Rutgers. First and 10. Bouncing outside is Mason. We get a flag, too. Mason's going to have a 6-yard run, but this one might be coming on back.
We're going to get Greg Robinson, the left tackle, holding Dan Skuta there on the edge.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Robinson's right here, working against Skuta. He extends his arm and then grabs outside the framework. If you just keep him inside, they don't call him. When your hands get outside the framework, they're going to call it every time.
Greg Robinson, second overall out of Auburn, trying to block for his running mate at Auburn, Trey Mason. And you hit it. You said they were going to go to Mason a lot more. They clearly have. I mean, 7 carries, 22 yards from Mason. We haven't seen anybody, Zach Stacey carry, now Cunningham in the game. Davis stays alive, fires under, throwing, intercepted. It's intercepted by Parrish Cox, looking for a convoy, and he's taken down at the 39. Second interception for Davis, and he's had a nightmare second quarter so far.
The more Austin Davis is playing in this league, one thing's becoming clear. He's quick to leave the pocket when he gets pressure in his face. And then once he's on the run, he's making some careless throws. That will get you in trouble at the quarterback position in the NFL.
Fourth pick, fourth from Cox this year. Austin Davis, he had a touchdown. I mean, he had a guy wide open, and he just badly underthrew him. And second interception for the 49ers. Fourth on the year for Parrish Cox, which is second in the NFL behind Tayshaun Gibson of the Browns. But another one today, he's got 6.
Couple things on this replay. Vic Fangio, he's going to continue to bring the pressure because when he's bringing it, he's going to flush and flush in a hurry. But look at this. Kenny Britt wide open down the field. He's got a touchdown if he just puts it out there. He badly underthrows it, and this is what happens when you underthrow balls in the NFL. And Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, not happy, and that's the life of the quarterback. You throw interceptions, you're going to take a beating.
Second down and 6 for Colin Kaepernick and company. Pressure coming. Hayes gets him again. We get a flag. William Hayes, who came in without a sack so far, but he's got 2 today if this play holds. It looks like it will if they accept it. It's going to be on San Francisco, the initial indication.
Holding. Offense, number 74. That penalty is declined. Third down.
Well, John, we talk so much about these Rams and their pass rush. We'll look at the play first.
See Anthony Davis just laid off the ball on the other side. Staley have his hands full with Robert Quinn. This Rams group is really heating up with their pressure.
Yeah, 3rd sack of the day. But what I was going to fill in and say is they've been without Chris Long, too, their starting defensive end. Hayes is filling it for him. He's kind of their 3rd guy. Kaepernick hits Crabtree. And on 3rd and long, he converts. First down, San Francisco.
Kevin, you alluded to it earlier. Jeff Fisher said the key to this game was their ability to get off the field on 3rd down. LaMarcus Joyner, tough coverage on Michael Crabtree, and you can't throw it any better than Colin Kaepernick just did to Michael Crabtree.
Kaepernick 7 for 11, 86 yards and a touchdown to Bolden so far. A little delayed draw action, and that is not going to get very far. Just across midfield, ball comes out, and the Rams have it, but the whistle says down. Laurinaitis came out here and returns it for a touchdown. He said, wait a second. That ball's out. I think that's out, John.
They said forward progress was stopped, and that is not reviewable. Forward progress is not. I think a poor call by the officials. That ball was out. That is not really forward progress as I know it. Jeff Fisher on the competition committee not happy at all.
That's a killer. I mean, if he said he was down by contact, you look at that. The forward progress can't do it through the challenge flag here. But I mean, this is if that was a call, forward progress, you can't review it because there's no way you can review that whistle on tape. It's not going to, can't do it.
Kevin, we could see the action from the near side official here, the lines judge. It was a very hesitant call when he called it. That ball, they were kind of looking at each other, and then he blew his whistle. That could be a big, big play in this game.
That's huge. I mean, that is at least.
There is no challenge on the play. The rule on the field was that the runner's forward progress was stopped prior to the ball coming loose. This aspect of the play is not challengeable. St. Louis is not charged a challenge. Second down.
That's just rough if you're St. Louis. That's the bottom line. It's a fumble, and it should be their ball. I want to bring in Mike Pereira. Mike, you know, your view from back there, I guess as an official, you're trying to wait not to make that call right away, right? Just because in that situation happens.
Yeah, you are, and that's not forward progress. The ball is out right away, and they're right. You cannot review that. But again, you know, he's driving upfield, and the ball comes out immediately. If you rule it on the field right, it's St. Louis's ball.
That's a tough one. Fisher knew he couldn't challenge. I think he just wanted to let his anger out. So San Francisco maintains possession. They hit Vernon Davis, and Davis out to get down to the 44-yard line. Bring up a third down for San Francisco.
And that's a guy they need to get going, Kev. You talk about everything, this team being poised to make a run, but you got to get players like Vernon Davis. You got to get them going. He's been riddled with injuries throughout the year. Talking to him on the field, he said that bye week gave him an opportunity to get healthy. Now he's got another injury, but he feels good other than that dislocated finger.
Yeah, he's missed a couple games with back, ankle. He's really been banged up, and he's another weapon. Rams come with pressure. Kaepernick tries to step away, and down he goes again. The Rams have their fourth sack, and that time it's Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn's going to finish it off, but it's James Laurinaitis again. He's going to blitz up the middle. He finds the crack. He gets his hands on Kaepernick, and here comes Quinn to finish the deal. Greg Williams, I think, really doing a nice job in this game, keeping Kaepernick off balance, out of rhythm in the pass game. And Kaepernick has not figured out the disguises of this Rams defense, and they are getting to him.
Rams came in with 6 sacks on the year. They've got 4 today in the first half. Lee is hit. I don't see a flag, though. Austin lets it go. Is that saved? It is. What a job by the 49ers. Was it Dahl? Oh, now they say touchback. Now they say touchback. McCray was down there. So was Ventrone. Let's see. Yep, he was on the line. Rams football. Niners up 10-3. So it's 10-3, San Francisco on top of St. Louis. The story, a couple of interceptions by this 49ers defense. But the Rams defensive line is doing the job to keep them in it. They got 4 sacks of Colin Kaepernick today. 4:17 to go in the first half. The Rams start out on their own 20. Give it to Mason, trying to get him going in that run game. Not much doing there. Borland was right up the middle, along with Bethea to make the stop.
Kevin, I'm seeing an interesting dynamic in this game. Talking to some of the Rams, they really wanted to spread out this 49er defense, get them out of that traditional 3-4 look. But when your quarterback starts getting skittish, throwing picks, you can't do that anymore. The other thing is Vic Fangio, every time they spread them out, he's bringing pressure right up the gut. And that's given Austin Davis and this Rams offense fits.
Austin Davis is 5 of 12, 36 yards and 2 interceptions. They've been trying to get the run game going. Mason had a good start. His last 5 carries have netted 8 yards. High throw again. He had Cook open and he overthrew him. So Davis really having a rough time.
See the turnovers. This is the first one by Antoine Bethea, and then the second one, just a poorly underthrown ball. Parrish Cox brings it in. But Kevin, you see that last throw, the misfire over the middle of the field. He's clearly rattled right now, and it's got to find this composure. That's the nature of this position on the road in the National Football League. It's tough. Austin Davis got to find a way.
I wonder if you're Jeff Fisher, if you're thinking about making a change at this point. I mean, are you thinking of that at this point, of Shaun Hill? I mean, because...
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And that's on Joe Barksdale, the right tackle. I mean, if you say he's rattled, it's a 10-3 game.
I'm seeing it. And Shaun Hill's a veteran who's got experience and savvy in this league. Austin Davis got off to a really good start. I think it's kind of like a pitcher. The more people get a book on him, they see what bothers him. I think the book is starting to be open on Austin Davis. He's got to respond if he wants to stay in there.
Yeah. And now 3rd and 14. Four-man rush. Davis going to run out of there again, and he's going to get drilled. 49ers bring the pressure. It's Aaron Lynch, the rookie, his 2nd sack of the year.
And that's really a coverage sack. Great coverage down the field by the 49ers. They make Austin Davis hold this football for an eternity, and Aaron Lynch continues to fight and then just runs Austin Davis down to bring him down for the sack.
And so the 49ers defense really digging in against this Rams offense. Johnny Hekker will punt it from his own goal line. High kick. And it takes a nice bounce. Rams will let it go on down inside the 40. Check your calendars, everybody. You'll see that tonight, Sunday Fun Day. That means a Wild Brand new night of the best new comedies on TV. It all starts at 7, 6 Central tonight on Fox. Homer still going strong, John.
You talk about longevity. He's the Frank Gore of the Fox network. He just keeps going.
Homer Simpson is the... Wow. I never thought I'd ever hear an analogy like that ever, but that works.
Hey, man.
I tell you, that's impressive, Lynchy. So here are the 49ers. They've got 2 timeouts, 2:39 to go, up 10-3. And the ball on their own 41. Carlos Hyde, the rookie. Instead is Kaepernick keeping. Kaepernick fooled me too when he's out near midfield. On the good fake. And he's going to pick up 8.
And Kevin, I like that adjustment by Greg Roman. The pressure's been coming where? Right from the interior. Blitz is right up the middle by Leonidas, so you challenge them on that perimeter of the defense when everyone's stacked inside, and this is something that Kaepernick brings to the table, the ability to beat you with his legs as well as his arm.
There's Greg Roman coaching way up in the booth for the 49ers in his 4th year, 17th season in the league, spent 2 years at Stanford with Coach Harbaugh. 2nd and 1. They give Kaepernick 9 on that run. Kaepernick pressure again. Down he goes and it's fumbled. Quinn with the sack, and the Rams have recovered. It's Eugene Sims.
He still has not been touched.
He could have gotten up there, but I don't think he realized it. Robert Quinn has a sack, the 5th sack by the Rams, John.
You were just talking about that right arm of his. Always, that thing is a weapon. And Robert Quinn and this St. Louis Rams defensive line, they're back.
John, that's the 9th forced fumble since last year by Quinn, the most in the NFL. Rams football down 7. All right, you can follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. Rams football now after the sack and forced fumble by Quinn. 1st and 10. Ball on the Niners 36, and they set up a screen to Cunningham. Good play. Benny Cunningham still going inside the 20. And the Rams in business here with 1:49 to go.
Kevin, good play call. We talked about them spreading them out, and when they do, they bring the pressure. So Brian Schottenheimer dials up the blitz right where the pressure came from on the screen pass. Nice job by Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for St. Louis.
It's a 17-yard game. Rams have all their timeouts left, so they got plenty of time. You'll split Tavon Austin to the top of your screen.
Hey, Jim!
Handoff Cunningham coming near side, gets decked by Antoine Bethea. Let's go down the sidelines with Pam.
Well, Kevin, on that turnover, Rams quarterback Austin Davis was so engrossed in the pictures, he wasn't quite ready to take the field. He went to get his helmet, and it wasn't there. He was so desperate, he picked up the closest one to him before eventually finding his own.
Well, I mean, if you're him, John, the way the half is going, you want to get out there before someone else does.
But you might want someone else's helmet. Maybe those messages coming in aren't the right ones.
Well, this could go a long way to erase what has been a tough start for Austin Davis so far. If he can get on the board here, this Rams defensive line has gone like gangbusters. 5 sacks today. And when you consider that the last game against Denver, the Niners allowed 6 sacks, this is a developing problem for San Francisco. Right now it's on the Rams, though, and the 49ers defense. 2nd and 12 from the 21. Britt in motion. Davis slings it Britt. Wide open. Kenny Britt. And the Rams put it in for a touchdown. Extra point away from tying it up. 21 yards to Kenny Britt.
Kevin, remember, 49ers playing without Patrick Willis, without Navarro Bowman. Right, where did the Rams go? Right over that middle of the field. I think Chris Borland's supposed to pick up that coverage. A rookie misses it, and Kenny Britt, wide open, walks in for the touchdown.
Austin Davis needed that. I mean, he was having a rough half. And then delivers a nice screen to Cunningham, and then 21 yards on the cross to Britt. Zerline's extra point up and good, and we're tied. And so Robert Quinn's sack and forced fumble led to this. Kenny Britt, his 2nd touchdown this year. All tied at 10 with 1:04 to go in the first half. We're tied in Santa Clara. 49ers and Rams at 10, and it's all because of the Rams defensive line. They've sacked Colin Kaepernick 5 times in this first half. It's Ellington taking it straight out and getting by the initial coverage. And Bruce Ellington sets up Colin Kaepernick and company out across the 32.
See the pressure that this defensive front, and I think you got to add the front 7 because James Laurinaitis has been in that backfield throughout the day. Robert Quinn all over Colin Kaepernick, and here's the big one, the turnover, getting the ball out, Eugene Sims falling on it.
So the 49ers with 2 timeouts, 58 seconds ago. Yeah, they're heating up all right. 5 sacks in this first half. Kaepernick in the gun. Going to go far side. He's got Brandon Lloyd. That's his first catch of the day. And he'll go out of bounds right at the first down marker. 54 seconds to go. John, the Bears watching me. This 49ers line, you know, they've been banged up. They've had guys hurt. All kinds of things. They haven't been able to have that full unit in, and they got a rookie at center today, but 11 sacks in 6 quarters. That's a problem.
Yeah, and a big part of it, they're going more to this spread offense. They've got all these weapons. They want to use them, but that leaves those tackles on an island. They've been struggling of late.
Here's Bolden. Bolden's got a first down across midfield. 49ers letting the clock go. See if they'll use a timeout. Not right now, with 43 seconds and counting in this first half. Got 2 timeouts, but they're taking an awful long time here. Well, they've wasted a good 15 seconds. Blitz coming. Picked up. Kaepernick near side. Davis has the catch. And he's out to the 35 and the 34. It's another first down. And now there's a timeout used by San Francisco. And so the 49ers trying to pick up points before the half. And for a preview what's coming up on the halftime show, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Coming up on the Visa halftime, Jeremy Maclin has another monster day as the Eagles get a big win. And Carson Palmer and the Cards take down the Romo-less Cowboys, the best record in the NFL. We've got highlights of it all coming up on the Visa halftime.
Thanks, Kurt. Carson Palmer and Jeremy Maclin were about 17 feet tall, John.
Hey, Kevin, you got to love that. Last time we saw Vernon Davis, he's on the sidelines getting his finger popped back in place, and now he's catching a ball out in the flat. You got to love that.
So 1 timeout left for San Francisco. They're already in field goal range for Phil Dawson, who's got a great leg, even at 39 years old. From the 34, another blitz. Kaepernick going deep for Crabtree, and not close. E.J. Gaines, the rookie, was there with good coverage as it is.
Remember, these are rookie corners out there, and you got to think that the 49ers are going to try to take advantage of that with Crabtree, Bolden, Brandon Lloyd, and Stevie Johnson.
"19 seconds to go, and a 2nd and 10 with 1 timeout. If you're wondering about Phil Dawson, he had a 55-yarder against Kansas City this year. His career long is 56, so he's already in that range. Of course, you'd like to make it closer. Kaepernick senses pressure, going to try and run. He's brought down again. The 6th sack of the first half by St. Louis. That time it's Eugene Sims.
And this is no blitz. This is just good 4-man pressure. Aaron Donald collapsing the pocket inside. Aaron Donald's going to be working right here against Alex Boone. He's going to collapse the pocket. Eugene Sims kind of spying Kaepernick, falls off and makes the sack.
Robert Quinn is getting all kinds of pressure too. He's got 2 sacks, and he's really coming from that right side of the Rams defensive line. And 49ers call their final timeout, and they'll try a long field goal from Dawson. See where they'll mark it up. This will be about a 56-yarder, 55. It will be a 55-yard field goal from Dawson. That would tie his season high. His career long is 56. Andy Lee is the hold. Kyle Nelson in his 2nd year, the long snapper. Not much wind on the field right now. Dawson. He's going to push it right. Austin's going to receive, and he's going to return it back. Tavon Austin looking for some room, and he's tackled in the end zone. He didn't get out, did he?
They're going to call him on the 1-yard line.
Oh, my goodness. That was almost disaster. Tavon Austin returning. They say he just got out. Let's see if he did. The ball's out. The whole body's out. And, yeah, I think that's a good call. Derek Carey was there. And now, let's see. The fans are into it. Jim Harbaugh's over there saying, wait a second. But I think they're going to rule forward progress here.
The rule on the field is that the ball carrier got back into the field of play, and the ball was dead in the field of play.
See if we can get Mike Pereira on the horn. Mike, what's your call on this if you're with us right now?
Well, I'll tell you, here's the issue here about forward progress. They rule forward progress in the field of play. Now, this is one area where forward progress is reviewable. So you can actually review whether the forward progress was in the field of play or if he was in the end zone when contact was made, and that's what they're going to review now.
And right, because it's involved with the end zone. And Mike, with you look at, initially I said, well, he's out, but he took that, he planted his left foot and then stepped backwards. And your take on this, how do you think this one's going to be ruled?
And that is the other issue too. Now, did he get the ball out, which he clearly did, because although the kick put the ball in the end zone, he got the entire ball out into the field of play, and then on his own he started to go back into the end zone. So what they're going to have to determine here, and it looks to me like, and all you're talking about here is just once he's out, just the point of the ball breaking the plane would make it a safety. If in fact that progress didn't drive him back, which I don't think it did. Again, here we go. Whole ball gets out. That we know for sure. Now he reverses his whole field here. Reverses field, goes backward. Now where's the ball right there when he's contacted? It is out in the field of play, or is it in the end zone? With that angle, pretty tough to tell. And remember, they ruled it was not a safety.
Yeah, that is hard. So you're saying when he gets tackled here, because for example, if that ball is across the line when he gets tackled, if he gets pulled back in midair, that's not a safety. He has to get hit with that ball on that line, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. And remember, ball going back in, it's just the point of the ball breaking the plane. Any part of the ball breaking the plane. Pretty tough with that angle. We'll see what, remember now, and let's review this process. Not only is Boger looking at it, but Dean Blandino's looking at this back in New York also. So they're running all these angles to try to get a feel for what it is.
The ruling on the field is that the runner's forward progress was stopped in the field of play, and he was driven backwards. The rule on the field will stay.
It's a really tough call.
This is the end of the half.
because of what Mike said. There's not that camera right on the goal line, and when he's hit initially, is the ball across? Did he get dragged back? And it's so tough because of the initial ruling to overturn that, John. But it stays. What a way to end a half, huh? 10-10 Rams and 49ers. Let's go to the halftime show. Visa with the fellas and Kurt Menefee in L.A. Kurt, take it away, man.
Whatever it takes, we'll win this game.
Good. 10-10 game, Rams and 49ers. We get set to start the third quarter. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. It's about the Rams defense. 6 sacks in the first half, most by St. Louis team and a half since 2003. And that's really been the reason why this game is 10-10, because the 49ers picked off Austin Davis twice. It looked like they were ready to take control. But Robert Quinn and company said,
They've been impressive. I think Greg Williams put together one heck of a game plan. It has disrupted the rhythm of this 49er offense, who have had every opportunity to blow this game open. Instead, the Rams are hanging right there.
And the Rams, who won the toss and deferred, will now reap the benefits as they will take this kickoff. Cunningham on a short kick. He's going to meander his way up across the 25. Let's go down to the sidelines with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Kevin, first of all, Jeff Fisher was not happy with the way that half ended. Let's make that crystal clear. Moving on, we discussed the defense and the tone it is setting for the team. He tried to temper that a little bit and say, well, you got 60 minutes of football to play, and we got to know that going in. As for the offense, I asked about Austin Davis. He was a little bit shaky, of course, in that first half, and we saw. He said, you know what, we're not that kind of team. He's not that kind of kid. I'm not that worried. I could give you more on Jim Harbaugh in a little.
All right, Pam, that's good stuff. I appreciate it. Here's Mason. Big hole for Trey Mason. After a good start, the Niners had shut him down, but on his first carry of the third quarter, he picks up 21.
You watch Scott Wells working and just blowing the hole open, and this is what you like about Trey Mason, his ability to see the hole and hit it. He's a strong back for his size, and he's got the speed, and I think he's going to emerge as the #1 back in St. Louis.
Mason, 9 carries, 44 yards. This is the first game all year that the Rams have kind of gone with one guy at running back. They have been using a 3-headed monster. He's going to move it down to the 47 here is Mason. You know, it's interesting watching, we were watching the halftime show with the guys, and I think it was Howie who said it, you know, about these 49ers. We said in the open, hey, look like they're ready to take off. And Howie was saying, you know, they look good for a few minutes and then not so good for a few minutes.
And that's been their whole season, you know, but you think that they're poised and ready. Maybe they're not. And they got to show that they are. Like I said, they've had every opportunity to blow this thing wide open. Credit the Rams for hanging in there.
Sticking with the running game, and why not? Because Mason's got a first down. Down to the 41. We get a flag, though, back at the line of scrimmage. So let's see what this is going to be all about.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
It's on Scott Wells, the center. Clearly, the sacks were a big part of his first half. And you look at some of the other numbers, the 49ers picked off Austin Davis twice, and they got a touchdown off of that. Anquan Bolden scoring. Low yardage affair in this one, and that penalty will make it a second down and 15. Backed up at the 42. Davis going to hit Austin, and Austin gets around the initial tacklers and near the original line of scrimmage. Speaking of Austin, that half, even though Jeff Fisher told Pam he was displeased, that half could have ended in disaster with Tavon Austin.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think a lot of people are home going saying, what's he doing? But remember, when you have your kick team out there, there's a bunch of offensive linemen trying to tackle Tavon Austin, who's an explosive player. He's not right, though, Kevin. This is not the guy we saw light up this league last year. He hurt his MCL in week 2, and I don't think he's been the same guy since.
Yeah, he hesitated on that, and it almost cost him. And now a third down at 11. Blitz picked up. Davis looking, nothing there. Looked like pretty good coverage in the secondary for San Francisco, and they'll force a punt.
Just good coverage across the board. Underneath coverage. Kenny Britt locked up by Parrish Cox. And again, they continue to get Austin Davis to flush out of the pocket. So when Kenny Britt opens up, instead he's on the run and can't see him.
Johnny Hekker to punt it away, who actually roomed with Jim Harbaugh's son Jay at Oregon State. How about that for a connection? He gets off a high sailing kick, but it takes a 49ers bounce into the end zone, and so they'll take over on their own 20 with 12:25 to go in the third. 10-10 Rams and 49ers from Santa Clara. 49ers football, their first possession of the third quarter, tied at 10 with the Rams. San Francisco coming off their bye. An up and down game. Rams defensive line is dominated until this. Frank Gore head of steam, and a late flag comes behind the play.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's going to be Alex Boone, the right guard, getting up to the second level on James Laurinaitis. We'll see as this play extends. He extends that right arm and gets a handful of James Laurinaitis. Good call. But I like that approach from the 49ers. I think your offensive line is struggling to protect. So what do? Hit them with the quick hitters. Go to Frank Gore and see if you can get that run game. Problem is you get the penalty. Now you're behind the sticks.
It's interesting, right? John, they have all these weapons this year, more than they have in recent memory in the pass game. And they're passing a little bit more because of that. But yet, you know, maybe the run game suffers a little bit. Kaepernick set up a little screen over the middle. Gore dancing his way out to the 19 just before the original line of scrimmage. Well, we heard about Jeff Fisher and the Rams at the break. Let's go down to Pam for more on the Niners.
Yeah, Kevin, I asked him, Harbaugh, what's going on with all those sacks on Colin Kaepernick? I was curious if he was confused or if it was a protection issue. Said we're not giving him enough time to set his feet. Just that simple. Back to you.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, they got such quick jumps off the line. And after 6 sacks to Denver, which at the time you said, well, Denver's hot. Ware and Von Miller wearing people out. This is a trend they have to be careful. Blitz coming again, 2nd and 11. Coming near side, Stevie Johnson has his first catch of the day, and that should be good for a first down.
And Kevin, I was just asking you there in halftime, where's Stevie Johnson been? Because this is a guy who's become a bigger part of this offense. We didn't see him much in the first half. Colin Kaepernick finds him, and Colin Kaepernick talking about Stevie Johnson, and I've heard this from other quarterbacks. Ryan Fitzpatrick runs routes in a very unique way, kind of a free-spirited guy, and that's how he runs routes. It's taken Kaepernick a while to get used to him, but he feels that chemistry coming on.
Run it with Gore. Good hole up the middle. He just got tripped up. Looked like it could have been a big play, but Sims got his hand on him. When you say that he runs routes in a unique way, is that a nice way of saying that he's not a good route runner?
No, not at all. It's just very unique. He's very patient, and it's hard for quarterbacks who are first working with him to understand, because it's different than everybody else. He runs them kind of at his own pace, at his own style, and so everybody who's played with him said it just takes a while to learn his mannerisms.
Gore hunching over on the sidelines. Johnson's gone from a number 1 guy in Buffalo, where he's a 3-time 1,000-yard receiver, to a number 3 guy, but he's been really good. This time going to Crabtree, and he dropped it. Dropped by Crabtree. We've got ourselves a game break. Let's head to Joel Klatt.
All right, Kevin, let's go to Seattle. Marshawn Lynch for the 2nd time today. He plunges into the end zone. 10th career game with 2+ rushing TDs. Seahawks up 24-3. John Lynch, I know you're proud. Marshawn told me he was your cousin.
That is my cousin, Marshawn. Keep running, but you see Marcus Martin, the new center, and Kaepernick. The exchanges had been good until now, and there's the first trouble they have.
On 3rd down, whistle blows. This play doesn't exist. And they will discuss this one. So we saw the update from Seattle.
Snap infraction on the center. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
You know, this 49ers offensive line has the continuity they've had the last 4 years has been great. They haven't had it this year, right? Boone holdout, Davis been hurt, all kinds of things going on. Rookie center today. What's your concern level, though, of these sacks the last 2 games?
I'm concerned. They got to play better, and that's this whole team. I mean, you think, all right, the vaunted 49ers, they got Bowman, Willis, and Alden Smith on the way. They aren't here right now. And offensively, they show flashes, but the consistency hasn't been there. I think the protection has been a big part of that.
This is their 5th offensive line combination today, and it's their 8th game. That's not what you want, and they've avoided that in recent years. Confusion on the play clock running down. 49ers have to call a timeout. Discombobulation in San Francisco. 10-10 game in the 3rd. Another 3rd and long for San Francisco, and considering the Rams already have 6 sacks. Be interesting how this one plays out. 3rd and 12 and a 10-10 game early 3rd quarter. Kaepernick going to get it away quickly to Crabtree. Nice cut. Tackle well shy of a first, and the 49ers will have to punt it away.
You see Kevin there, though. That's what the pressure does to you. It's 3rd and 10, and you're throwing a ball behind the line of scrimmage because you don't trust that offensive line. So it starts to mess with everyone's head. Greg Roman doesn't know what to call because they can't protect him long enough. He tries to put it in Crabtree's hands, but it's 3rd and 11, and you're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage.
And now Tavon Austin, who had 1 punt return for 10 yards. Andy Lee. Drive Austin back to the 13, right up the sideline. A stutter step just to get a couple yards, but not much there. Great punt by Andy Lee. Well, this NFC West is the Cardinals division right now, John. They're 7-1. It's the best record since Jim Hart was quarterback with these Cardinals. 49ers 4-3 coming off their bye, still figuring out what they're about. And the Seahawks, even though at times it hasn't looked particularly great, 4-3 winning today. Rams 7 straight losing seasons, 2-5, but the defense has ratcheted it up a couple of notches. Scores today, all Seattle against Oakland. Oakland hasn't won a game in a long time. Matter of fact, they've lost 13 consecutive games. Then Arizona, Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles. And that team, I didn't think they were legit after dismantling Dallas today. They got reminded of it as they dump it off to the tight end. It's Lance Kendricks who makes the catch on 1st down.
Yeah, and I really like since Austin Davis really struggled with those 2 turnovers, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, you think back, he went to the screen pass, simple short passes. We just saw another one to try to put some confidence back into Austin Davis. Job well done by Schottenheimer.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking you after that 2nd interception, did you think about Sean Hill, and you heard Pam's report when you said, and now Davis, give him credit as right of the ship, including throwing the touchdown to Kenny Britt. They'll run it to Mason, and he's got a 1st down. Getting the running game going.
Tackled by Justin Smith.
Let's remember, too, the one thing about this Rams team this year is they have had leads, in these first quarters and lost games. They have not played well in second halves. As a matter of fact, they've got the worst second half scoring differential in the NHL. Forget what league I'm in. Worst scoring differential in the NFL at -78. So trying to change that momentum a little bit. On the fake, pressure coming, steps up, and he hits Mason, who was tackled immediately by Borland, but there's a flag as well.
Davis's pass. Conflict to Mason, tackled by Borland.
It's like Kevin in the area of defensive holding or legal contact, something of that nature in that secondary of the 49ers.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket, holding, defense number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
It's on Culliver.
Kevin, you alluded to it earlier. You see the hold there. He's got a fistful of jersey. San Fran, the 5th most penalized team in the NFL coming into today. They're playing sloppy football, and they better watch out because they got a Rams team who's not going away.
And they're gaining more confidence, and they got the run game going a little bit here, too, in the 3rd. And Mason falls down. And now the Niners say it was a fumble and they got the football. I don't see any indication on the field, though. There's nothing that came from the field whatsoever that the ball was fumbled. Let's see
the rule of the field is the ball carrier was down by contact.
Yeah,
I agree. Knee down, forearm down.
Let's remember the first meeting between these two teams. 14-0 Rams. They were really dominating the game. And then 14-3 late, and they let up a bomb to Brandon Lloyd right before the half, and then the Niners dominated the second half.
Hey, Joey.
Not that way today. 2nd and 10. 4-man pressure. Davis has time, but overthrows Mason.
And that puts up a 3rd down for the Rams.
One thing, you study Austin Davis enough, and you talk about that book that starts to be developed. Any pressure in his face, not the tallest guy, 6'2". Some guys can handle that. Drew Brees, smaller than that, doesn't have a problem. Austin Davis struggling with pressure right up the gut.
Rams 2 of 6 on 3rd down. They're going to pitch it. Cunningham has absolutely nowhere to go. Smith, McDonald, whole host of others. Brooks was there too, and the Rams will punt it away.
Well, you got both defenses playing really well, and it's playing tricks with the offenses. On 3rd down, they're almost just playing to punt. They were going to play this field position game until some offense takes over and asserts themselves. It's really both teams just back and forth.
So Hekker will punt it away to Ellington. Pressure, and Hekker still got it off. Ellington's going to call fair catch and makes it out at the 24-yard line. Aaron Lynch came in and almost blocked that punt. 44-yard punt, no return. We've got a defensive battle. It's intense here at Santa Clara. 10-10 49ers and Rams in the 3rd. We take you behind the 49ers huddle, where the offense has been derailed mainly because of this Rams defensive line. Both defenses playing at a very high level right now. 10-10 game in the 3rd. Carlos Hyde, the rookie, in at tailback. And they fake it to him. Bolden's wide open. Give it to Anquan Bolden. That's going to work. Lowers his shoulder and works his way out across the 38. Good gain for 14 to Bolden on 1st down.
And I think this is what has been working best for the 49ers. You have a very aggressive defense in the St. Louis Rams, so misdirection plays are going to give them problems. They're a young defense. And I think every time we've seen it, the touchdown earlier to Bolden, now it's paid dividends. So I would be running the football and then challenging them on the perimeter with Kaepernick throwing on the run.
Bolden, his 900th career catch with that one. That's a pretty high mark. Momentous note. 4 for 65 and a touchdown today. Here's Gore, his 8th carry of the day, and Gore is going to pick up 4 yards. 900 receptions, that's a lot. And, you know, he came over and had a monster year last year. 1,179 yards and 7 touchdowns after the trade with Baltimore. And on that list, 3rd fewest in NFL history to get to 900. Guy keeps on going at age 34.
He's just a playmaker, has been for a long time, was the rookie of the year. He's continued to be productive, a very smart player. Colin Kaepernick describes him as savvy. He really thinks his way out there on the field.
2nd and 6. Kaepernick rolls, hits Miller in the flat, and Bruce Miller out around a 1st down. The spot is going to be just a little short. New this season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Bring up a 3rd down and 1. Remember, Jeff Fisher said this was the biggest challenge for his team today. 3rd down defensively, the Rams have allowed 46%, 25th in the league. Today, San Francisco just 2 of 7, though. So to this point, D has done the job for Jeff Fisher. It's Ellington who gets in the backfield now with Bolden. He's going to give it up the gut. That's going to be a 1st down.
So you look at this simple handoff, but look at, you got Bolden, you got Ellington, the Delaware eye, and you're going to hand it to Frank Gore, kind of hiding back there. A lot of window dressing on a real simple play.
You just mentioned Delaware because our director, Artie Kempner, wants to get credit for the play. Wasn't your play, Artie. Krempner. He's related to Artie Kempner. 1st and 10. San Francisco. Gore. And Gore up the middle for a short gain. We have ourselves a game break. Joe Klatt has it.
All right, Kevin, let's go up to Foxborough where the Pats playing very well today. And Manning Brady, 16. Shane Vereen, 5-yard TD catch, 3rd TD catch of the season. Matches his career high. It's 27-7 Pats at the half. Kevin and John.
Now, I did not see that coming. Since October started, Tom Brady's got 16 touchdowns and no picks.
Well, we were there last week playing the Chicago Bears, and that team played about as well as you can, but so did the Denver Broncos versus the... So you thought it would be a close game. Certainly not.
Carlos Hyde bounces off a boom block. 1st down and more for Hyde, the rookie from Ohio State. Knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Got a couple of good blocks, and the 49ers moving the chains with a gain of 13.
Should have watched the fullback, Bruce Miller, going to start to the right, then come all the way back and watch him seal Jolon Dunbar right there. Excellent job by Bruce Miller, a real unheralded player in this scheme, but so integral to what they do.
2:38 to go, 3rd quarter. 10-10 game. 49ers on the move. Their 7th play of the drive. Pressure. Kaepernick in trouble, and down he goes again. Aaron Donald, the rookie, gets there. His 3rd sack of the year and the 7th sack by St. Louis today.
And watch this kind of explosion. This is what I'm talking about. Reminiscent. He's not Warren Sapp, believe me, I'm not saying that, but he's got characteristics of his game that are very similar. Not only the number, the explosiveness, the quickness that he plays with. This young man is a talented individual.
When you brought that up to me on the phone, I said, wait a second, you played with that. That's high praise coming from you now, JL.
Well, there's no one better than Warren Sapp, but the young man does some things that really are reminiscent.
Inside, that play is not going to go anywhere. Alec Ogletree tackling Gore after a short gain, and now a 3rd down and long. 49ers have to get down to the 24. I mean, 7 sacks for the Rams today. They had 6 coming into the game. And we had questions all year long. We'd seen it starting to heat up about this pass rush, which was 3rd best in the NFL last year. You know about the injury to Chris Long. That's obviously hurt them. Well, they've come alive today.
Just think about this front when they get Chris Long back, and he will be back. You add him to the equation. Watch out.
Play clock at 2 to get it off, and the ball is loose. And the 49ers recover it back. But a drive that looked good to start, then the sack, and now they've got a punt.
I think so much movement by this Greg Williams coach defense at the snap. Colin Kaepernick trying to scan the defense instead of catching the football. We talked about Austin Davis being rattled early. Colin Kaepernick has been rattled by this defensive front for the St. Louis Rams.
If you get sacked 7 times, it's hard to be rattled. And I don't know that any one of these has been his fault, John. I mean, he's had no time whatsoever. Lee will punt it. Good kick. But it bounces in the Rams' manner, and they'll take over on their own 20. A sack, a drop snap, and the 49ers, a once good-looking drive, turned sour. Jim Harbaugh needs some heartburn medication. 10-10, late 3rd. Saturday, the UFC returns to Fox Sports 1 with an epic night of fights from Brazil, including a light heavyweight showdown between 9th-ranked Shogun Rua and 10th-ranked Ovin St. Preux. UFC Fight Night Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jeff Fisher and Jim Harbaugh seeing their defenses dominate this game here today, especially in the second half. We have just 16 seconds to go in the 3rd. Trey Mason gets the call, and Mason across the 25 is going to pick up 5. And that should run the clock down. And meanwhile, William Hayes, who's got 2 sacks today, being carted off the field after that last series by St. Louis. He got off the field under his own power, being carted off now. That's not good news. That takes us to the end of the 3rd. 10-10 games. Scoreless third quarter, and we're knotted at 10. The Rams and the 49ers as we start the fourth. 49ers at 4-3 coming off their bye. Rams at 2-5 after they had a big win over Seattle 2 weeks ago. Had an awful loss at Kansas City. Les Snead, the GM of this Rams team, watching on. Mason gets the call, and Borland up to make the hit. He's had a good game. This is 12th tackle for Borland, filling in for Patrick Willis.
You know, Kevin, people in St. Louis are tired of hearing that this thing is building. But I think the combination of Les Snead and Jeff Fisher, there's a lot of pieces on this team. Obviously, the quarterback's a major one that they're going to have to address, whether it's Bradford, Austin Davis, whether the guy's not here. That's the position they have to address, because there's a lot of pieces around that are promising for the future.
Sam Bradford watches on. 3rd down and 2. Four-man rush, still pressure. He slings it out to Cunningham, who's wide open, and Benny Cunningham across the 40, and he's got a Rams first down.
That was nice poise by Austin Davis, just hanging in there until he couldn't anymore, and then knowing where his outlet is, getting it out to him accurately, and then letting Cunningham do the rest.
So the Rams keep the drive going. Now into the fourth quarter. Trey Mason, 14 carries, 62 yards. They're going to fake it to him. Here's Austin. Tavon Austin, a little end around, and Bethea is there to make sure that is only going to pick up 4.
Every game there's going to be about 3 or 4 plays designed for Tavon Austin just to get the ball in his hands. He's an explosive player, and they want the ball in his hands. That doesn't look like much. 4 yards is a positive gain on first down.
Brian Schottenheimer told us with the injury to Brian Quick, you know, there's going to be an emphasis on Austin to be more of a receiver and not an all-everything guy. He's only got 1 catch today. 2nd down and 7. Leonard again with Mason up the middle. Short game. They'll bring up a 3rd down and short.
And that brings up another 3rd down for the Rams.
Fox Sports proud to be part of the Movember Foundation's commitment to changing the face of men's health. Join us in growing and supporting mustaches to raise awareness for issues like prostate and testicular cancers and mental health by visiting moteam.com/fox-sports. moteam.co/fox-sports. Crowd into it on a big 3rd and 4. Davis to Austin. He's got a first. And there is Tavon Austin as the receiver, and he comes through to move the chains one more time.
It's a really good job by Tavon Austin. They put him in motion, seeing if they've got man or zone. He sees he has zone. He finds the soft spot and gets down before Antoine Bethea has a chance to hit him. Very nice ball by Austin Davis.
And so 2 3rd down conversions on this drive for the Rams. Austin getting a little feisty after that catch. Big formation, 3 tight ends. Mason gets the carry. Mason, Scuda breaks off 1 tackle, still going, but gang tackling by the 49ers all over it. Borland came up for help, so did Wilhoit.
Trey Mason, he is feisty. I like the way he runs. He's got some juice to him, but watch him. He's not going to go down. Penetration in the backfield. Scuda has him. He gets rid of him, and then here comes the hats for the 49ers D.
Meanwhile, Scuda has remained down on the ground. 49ers training staff out tending to him. Rams and Niners tied at 10 in the 4th. 10-10. Rams, 49ers. Rams football. They're into it here at Levi's Stadium. Physical game, and Jeff Fisher told us yesterday, John, nobody wants to play us right now. We're a physical team. Both teams living up to it. Davis out of the pocket and come and hit Mason, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. Borland again was there. Ray McDonald forcing Davis out of the pocket. Swarming defense from San Francisco.
And I think Austin Davis, a little more experience, would have thrown that football at Trey Mason's feet. He was going to lose yards on that. 49ers had diagnosed it, should have thrown it at his feet. Trey Mason should have got down. Instead, you're looking at a 3rd and 15 plus.
49ers only have 1 sack, but they have forced Davis out of the pocket repeatedly. And now a 3rd and 19. Going to give to Cunningham up the middle. And that is not going to be close to a first down. He's going to get to the 47-yard line. They needed to get to the 36. Let's keep in mind, Jeff Fisher loves trickery on special teams. I mean, just loves it.
Kevin, we met with him the other day. I said, Jeff, you got any stuff up? He said, we always have stuff up. Just a matter of whether we run it. And the 49ers know that, very aware.
Decker is 3 of 4 on fakes. So this is a punt. About the most obvious thing I could say is the ball was in the air. And the 49ers will take over. So the 49ers defense holds, and now it's on Colin Kaepernick and company. We're tied at 10 with 10 to go. We had a penalty thrown after we went to commercial. I'm not kidding. It was that late.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team, number 10, throwing the football at the runner.
All right, so that's on Ellington. And let's see. We're going to break right here. And it's not there. I guess Ellington's going to come in and... That's 15 yards. Wow. All right. Well, move the 49ers back to their own 6.
Like Justin Smith said the other day, I think it's still called football. I mean, not much there, but can't do it. You got to be disciplined.
And so we are tied at 10. 10:04 to go. 1st and 10 for San Francisco, backed up on their own 6 with Frank Gore, and now movement as Mike Iupati looked to jump.
False start. Offense, number 77.
You know, Kev, this is a hallmark of Jim Harbaugh coach teams, are that they are very disciplined, that they play physical, but yet very disciplined. This is anything but discipline today. And again, it has the Rams right in this game.
And now that'll move them back to their own 4. Well, for the Rams defense, there have been 2 storylines for them. And the sacks and the defense against the run. And now another penalty. 49ers going to be in their own locker room in a minute.
False start. Offense, number 21. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Well, another penalty, it's on Gore. But here's what I was talking about. When you're talking about this Rams team today, first of all, the penalties on both teams have come at not great times, okay? Here's the penalty on Gore. Just that little move. On 1st and 14, it's Gore, and he's not going to find much running room. And that's been the thing, John. This Rams defense came in today 31st in the league, allowing 145 yards per game. Well, they've done a nice job against the 49ers run game today.
They really have, and last time they played them, they did a nice job against it as well. Frank Gore was held to 16 rushes, 38 yards. They're playing the run well. If I'm the 49ers, I think you've got to create some tempo. You're going on these long counts. You got to create some tempo, some energy. Again, that misdirection is what's been working. They got to get back to that.
Amy Jackson in motion. He's got just 1 catch today. He's been such a big factor for this team. Number 13. Kaepernick in trouble, and he just gets out of the end zone, but he goes down for the 8th time. Michael Brockers with the sack. The Rams' 8th today. They had an 8-sack game in 2012 against Arizona.
And Brockers working against that rookie center, Marcus Martin. And Kevin, this is really strange because remember, for years we've come in here and talked about the strength of this 49ers team being that offensive line, and they have been awful today. They've been awful up front. The Rams taking advantage of it.
I don't know if you're Colin Kaepernick how you could have any confidence in running that kind of pass play. I mean, It's been unbelievable. 8 sacks in the 3rd and 15 out of your own goal, and they're going to run it to Gore. And Gore is going to get Andy Lee a little room, but that's it.
Strange thing, too, Kevin, talking to the 49er coaches, Harbaugh, Greg Roman, they felt like the bye week really gave them a chance to get healthy up front, and they were looking for this offensive line to get back to playing how they're accustomed to playing. It's been anything but.
Tavon Austin, who had a punt return touchdown last year, hasn't quite looked like himself this year. Has been banged up just a little bit. But now poised to give the Rams great field position. Lee will punt from his own end zone. Returnable for sure. Austin from the 38. Up to midfield. Still in bounds. Tavon Austin. And flags flying everywhere. And the whistle's blowing this play dead. I think he stepped out of bounds at the 44, but there's also 2 flags in the field. So let's see. Not out of bounds yet. I don't think he was out of bounds. I don't think he's out of bounds.
He never was.
But now what are the penalties? Well, this is a huge huge call, obviously. Think about this game too. We had just before the half that was almost a safety when Tavon Austin tried to return the field goal and almost got caught in his own end zone. We had the Laurinaitis play that he picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown, but they said forward progress, which was incorrect. And now this. The thing about this is, John, they blew the whistle.
They did. That left foot never was out of bounds.
If they blew the whistle, and you can't look at this because they blew the whistle while he was still running down the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play.
Let's see.
One against each team. We had illegal block in the back against the kicking team and illegal block in the back against the receiving team. We will see if the receiving team wants to just have their foul enforced or have the ball re-kicked.
Wait, I'm sorry.
It still doesn't explain why they blew that play dead. Meanwhile, Tavon Austin, it would have been offsetting penalties anyhow. But
right.
It doesn't explain why the whistle was blown and the play was stopped. They still didn't explain
2 fouls
that.
on the play during the kick. Illegal block in the back. Kicking team number 34.
Right.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 53. These fouls all set.
Yeah, so
we'll replay 4th down.
The down would have been replayed anyway. His first explanation was wrong. Once that happens, the down is being replayed. But yeah, you're right. I mean, can you imagine if those flags don't fly, they take away a touchdown? Wow. All right. Well, that's all fodder now. It doesn't matter. They'll do it again. Andy Lee punting from his own end zone. There's a bad kick. Really bad kick. Out of bounds. Where are they going to mark it? At the 25? Wow. Andy Lee, who is so good and so consistent, they're going to mark it out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Maybe the best offsetting penalties the Rams have ever seen. And they take over on the Niners 29. Tied at 10 when we come back. Week 8 continues with Sunday Night Football tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBC, and then tune in tomorrow on Monday Night Football coming your way on ESPN. Andy Lee is so good, but just shanked one, 23 yards. And maybe a little help from special teams coach John Fossil here.
He does his best. Tavon Austin catches it. He's trying to go to the house.
Hey, I said, hey, they're going to blow the whistle on my guy Austin. I'll take it. But after that kick, the Rams take over on the 49ers 29. And they give it to Austin. Excuse me. Not Austin. That is Mason. And he gets maybe a yard on 1st down. So the Rams already in field goal range in this defensive battle. No points here in the second half. And really, that's the first mistake by anybody. The bad punt. Kenny Britt is not in the game right now. In some pain, trying to stretch out. So Tavon Austin at the bottom of your screen. That's Chris Givens in motion. Mason Met by Borland. Boy, what a game. Chris Borland has his 16th tackle. Subbing in for Patrick Willis today, who's hurt.
He's been all over the field, and Patrick Willis is out. And Chris Borland, the rookie from Wisconsin, he's trying to make the most of his opportunity. Great tackling with authority.
Most by a 49er this year. Play clock is already down to 7. And now the whistle is blown. I think the Rams called the timeout from the sideline. They did. And so they will talk it over. St. Louis has their first timeout of the half. Big play coming up. Game tied at 10 from Levi's Stadium in the fourth.
At the end of this play, Kevin, the last play, you see Chris Borland pick up Trey Mason and slam him to the ground. That's supposed to be a personal foul. That's a point of emphasis in the league this season. Was missed by the officials, and that would have been big. Would have been automatic first down, closer, and here the Rams are on 3rd and 10.
Need to get to the 19. Davis going to swing it to Cunningham. And Benny Cunningham's not going to get the first. But he certainly has Greg Zuerlein in field goal range and a chance to take the lead. It was Borland again for his 16th tackle.
He's been all over the field as Chris Borland.
So now it's Zuerlein, who hit a 37-yard field goal earlier. Be a 39-yard attempt coming right here. Johnny Hecker, the punter, is the holder to give the Rams the lead. Snap and holder, good, and he snuck it in there. Boy, oh boy, a little bit of a knuckler, but he got it in the strike zone. And the Rams have taken the lead. Greg Zuerlein sneaks it in. 5:25 to go. It's 13-10 Rams in front. 13-10 Rams. And this is something you don't see often. Jim Tomsula, a position coach, going after guys that aren't necessarily the guys he's coaching.
Well, he knows and they know. You got to protect. Now you're behind. Mike Solari, the offensive line coach as well. But Jim Tomsula, a fiery guy, and he understands those guys need to do their jobs and they need to do it better, as does Kaepernick. He needs to get rid of the football. You got to adjust, if not throw it away.
Now the Rams have their first lead of the game with 5:25 to play. Ball falls off the tee, so Zuerlein will have to reset it. There is the offensive line. And as we mentioned earlier, the 5th different offensive line combination today. The difference today is that they've got a brand new starting center, a 20-year-old Marcus Martin. After Adam Kilgore went out for the year, and now the wind blows the football off the tee again. So they're going to need a holder. I'll get your action and your thrills on Fox Monday. First, it's a day of reckoning as war breaks out on a new Gotham. And then it's a new Sleepy Hollow that's fantastically awesome with television's favorite duo. Catch both tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Fox. The hold by McDonald. Zuerlein will kick it off. Ellington. Bruce Ellington out across the 20, and that's where the 49ers will try to get something going against this Rams defensive line that has sacked Kaepernick 8 times. He's been under pressure an incredible amount today.
Just been relentless pressure from this St. Louis Ram defense. Up the middle, from the edge. Colin Kaepernick sacked 8 times on the day, making him reset. And then they're coming to finish the deal. Colin Kaepernick's been harassed all day. They got to find a way to give him some protection. He's got to find some of these talented receivers he has at his disposal.
We have just over 5 minutes left in the game, and neither offense has over 200 yards so far. That's some defense. Pump fake. Kaepernick still looking. He's going to zoom. What a hit. He's going to zing it over there to the 3rd tight end, Derek Carrier. But Jolon Dunbar was right there.
See, his numbers look fairly efficient. 16 to 22, 17 to 23 now. But remember, on all those sacks, he's not throwing it away. He's just taking a sack. And I think early in the game, he got himself in some tough down and distance because he's taking those sacks.
Time this time for Kaepernick, who's going to dump it off to Gorder. Did he ever get it? Incomplete. Robert Quinn just saw that coming and disrupted that play.
It was a real nice cat and mouse game. What happened there? Kaepernick audibled, and then the Rams audibled right back out of the blitz to coverage. Kaepernick was lost, and Robert Quinn, very nice reaction. Going from rusher to pass defender. Robert Quinn all over the field today for the St. Louis Rams.
You like what Greg Williams has done with this game plan today, John?
I think he's been fantastic. He really has, and he's had Kaepernick confused throughout the day.
3rd down and 4. Coming near side. Crabtree, and he can't make the catch. A drop on 3rd down that would have gone for a first, and instead, San Francisco to punt.
You know, that's a ball that you say it touches your hands, you got to make the catch, but poorly thrown football. Michael Crabtree was kind of sitting in the soft spot. Kaepernick led him too much, but just symbolic of the poor execution of this 49er offense throughout the day.
Austin has that 1 touchdown, 98 yards against the Colts last year. Andy Lee had a 23-yard punt before. This one much better. Returnable. Austin sums it up. Going to go left, going to get a couple blocks and a good return as the San Francisco 49er helmet goes flying. Eric Reed shoved him out of bounds, but the Rams have good field position with 4:14 to go and a 3-point lead. As you look at Austin Davis and Colin Kaepernick, not numbers that are going to wow you out of the gym, but that's what we've had today. And give Davis some credit, John. You know, he looks, after his 2nd interception, you said it, he looked rattled. And then he finished the half strong after the Rams got the turnover, punched it in with that touchdown to Kenny Britt. And it's been okay. I don't think they've thrown a pass more than 3 yards down the field.
And, and that's the adjustment if you're the Niners, particularly where you are in this game. You got to suffocate them because they aren't throwing it down the field. Suffocate them. Don't give them the cheap, easy throws.
They're going to run. Mason. There's just no room there. You're right. We've got time for a game break with Joel Klatt.
All right, Kevin, back to Foxborough, and after a Peyton Manning interception, his 2nd of the day that actually bounced right off of Wes Welker's hands, it's Brady to LaFell, 10 yards. Set up by that Browner interception, 37-14. Pats, the route is on.
Remember when the Patriots went to Kansas City on Monday night and they got clobbered and everyone said, man, the Patriots are done.
Brady was done. Brady was too old.
Time over the hill. Haven't heard that conversation in a while. 2nd down and 9. Benny Cunningham now in the backfield. Kenny Britt, that's him back in the game. Cunningham up the middle. Good run. Benny Cunningham fell down a yard shy of a first, depending on the spot. Got a good block from Corey Harkey, too. Got a timeout on the field. Arizona is 7-1 after the win over Dallas today. Seahawks are winning. Raiders have come back in that game, though, so that makes this game huge for the 49ers. 3rd and 1 for the Rams. They're going to fake it, pressure in Davis's face, going to throw it away. Man, oh man. 49ers defense coming up huge.
He had Lance Kendricks, but he got pressured. He got pressured. He never had a chance to get to him. But look at Lance Kendricks right here. Will Hoyt bit the fake. And Austin Davis, you got to see that. If he does, touchdown, game over. Instead, he has to throw it out of bounds. Lance Kendricks with no one within 10 yards of him.
Outside of the pocket today, Davis is just 1 of 7, negative 8 yards. Hecker gets a beautiful punt. Ellington has to fair catch right around the 11. Great kick by Johnny Hecker. 3:11 to go. Rams 3-point lead, and really 49ers haven't had anything go right since right before the half. They thought they had a safety here when Austin tried to return a field goal attempt, and it was close. They called on the field that his forward progress got him out, and reviews were close but probably inconclusive.
Kevin, you go back to that last 3rd and 1, and I like the play call there. You take a chance, but if you take the chance, you got to hit it while it's there. It was wide open, and to beat a team like the Niners, you got to go have that knockout punch. We'll see if that comes back to bite the St. Louis Rams.
It's interesting, too, because talking to Brian Schottenheimer yesterday, we were asking about getting Tavon Austin involved, and he said, Davis sometimes has a hard time seeing him because Austin's so small. Bradford's 6'5", it can see over the rush. Not that Austin's short, he's 6'2", but in that instance, it can make a difference.
I think when he's flushed out of the pocket, he's not doing a good job of keeping his eyes downfield right now. His eyes are going to the rush as opposed to downfield.
Now it's on Kaepernick. Carlos Hyde, the rookie, in the backfield. Back to throw. There's Stevie Johnson breaks through a tackle. Stevie Johnson has a first down and then some. He's out to the 47-yard line. To gain of 30.
He's a guy I'd keep feeding because he looks like he's moving at a different speed than everybody else. Turning around Trumaine Johnson, then breaking the tackle. I keep him in the game, and I keep throwing to him.
Plenty of time left. San Francisco one timeout in the 2-minute warning. Need a field goal to tie. Touchdown to win. Kaepernick coming near side in all heavy traffic, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Johnson again.
The thing Greg Williams told us is we want to make Kaepernick go through his progressions, cause him to reset. We've seen that all throughout the course of this game. A good job of mixing looks where that first read isn't always there. Having to go through the progression, they felt like they could sack him and cause some incompletions. They've done both.
On second down, blitz coming, picked up initially, Bolden, and a good tackle there because that would have been a big play. McLeod on the tackle, but Bolden gets up to the 45.
That's a really good open field tackle and one that needed to be made by McLeod, and a tough guy to bring down, and Anquan Bolden so strong. Excellent open field tackle by McLeod.
3rd down and 2, approaching the 2-minute warning. They have to run a play if they don't want to.
And Stevie Johnson one-on-one up here.
And they get it off. Kaepernick to Crabtree, low throw. Did he catch it? We get a penalty as well. I think it hit the ground. Yes, there it is, incomplete. We get a flag too as we hit the 2-minute warning. Well, let's see what the penalty is first.
It's like they're going to get LaMarcus Joyner for illegal contact in the slot against Bolden. That or a hold.
Holding. Defense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
There's Joyner. There's that arm wrapped around Anquan Bolden. Bolden politics for it, and he gets it.
49ers on the move, but they trail by 3 with 1:55 to go. What kind of day has it been for San Francisco? Dejection, frustration, but still they've got a chance for redemption. This was after a 23-yard punt. Andy Lee. This doesn't happen. It led to the Rams go-ahead field goal, but now 1:58 to play. 49ers football on the move. 1st and 10, 1 timeout to go, needing a field goal to tie. Pressure. Kaepernick rolls out. It's going to loft it to Nowheresville. And a flag from the far sideline. Aaron Donald may have lined up off sides. Or maybe it was Joyner. 20 on the blitz.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 76 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Or maybe it was that.
See the tackle. Anthony Davis.
There is no intentional ground on the play. The quarterback is ruled to have been outside the pocket when the pass was thrown.
His helmet has to break the waistline of that center. And typically when that's called, they've warned him earlier in the game. And that's been a point of emphasis the last couple of weeks to try to get those tackles back up on the line of scrimmage.
Why is he backing up? Because the Rams have 8 sacks. Trying to get a little bit of an advantage. 1st and 15. Bolden makes the catch, breaks the tackle. Anquan Bolden inside the 35. And a first down for San Francisco. He's down to the 34. It's a gain of 20. The clock moving at 1:38.
We saw McLeod make that same tackle on the same blitz on the other side. This time he swings and misses as Bolden eludes him.
One timeout remains for the 49ers. From the 35. 4-man rush. Kaepernick steps up, throws. Good catch by Stevie Johnson. Down to the 30. Tackled immediately by E.J. Gaines.
I'd keep the tempo going. I think you need to keep that tempo going. You got this defense on their heels. And don't settle down and let them find themselves again. Keep them on the ropes.
Under a minute to go on 2nd down. Kaepernick gonna loft it for the end zone. Knocked away beautifully by Gaines. He was looking for Stevie Johnson, but the rookie Gaines, a 6th-round pick, made it happen.
Greg Williams, he's got a rookie corner, but he doesn't care. He's going to leave him out on that island, and the rookie steps up and makes his coach look good. A rookie from Missouri, E.J. Gaines.
And now there's a Ram hurt. Is that Gaines who's still down? Looks like E.J. Gaines is still down, laying there at the 5-yard line. And the Rams trainer's out to work on him. We'll take a break. 51 seconds to go. Rams by 3. Niners on the move. 8 sacks today by this Rams defense. Anquan Bolden, 3rd fastest to 900 career catches in the NFL history. Chris Borland, 18 tackles. The rookie starting for Patrick Willis. Most tackles by anyone in the league this year. But here's the most important number. It's 13-10 Rams with 51 seconds to go. San Francisco football at the 30. Already in that man's field goal range, which would tie it, but obviously looking for a win. And they've got 1 timeout left. E.J. Gaines left the game after that great play. And so 47 Marcus Roberson, who actually started the game, is back in there on the top of your screen.
There he is, one-on-one with Stevie Johnson.
3rd down and 5 here. Rams showing blitz. Here they come. Kaepernick steps up, lofting for Crabtree. Incomplete, but a flag. A flag flies. It was Tremaine Johnson on Crabtree. And that is going to be 1st and goal, San Francisco. What a huge play and a huge call.
You know, Greg Williams is an aggressive coach.
Defense, number 22. Spot the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
He's been aggressive all day, but he leaves Tremaine Johnson out there against Michael Crabtree. Roberson on the other side. Those corners out there alone. Kaepernick saw it, went after him, and Tremaine Johnson called for the PI.
46 seconds to go. Rams by 3 as a 1st and goal. San Francisco at the 5. Kaepernick tipped at the line, incomplete, and another flag. But the ball was tipped. So if that's going to be called, ball's tipped, that'll nullify that penalty. It was McBride again on Crabtree, and I think Quinn is the guy that got a hand on it. But unless they call a different penalty, oh, there you go.
Holding. Defense, number 22. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. 1st down.
Is that one-on-one matchup? I'd say so. He's got a fistful of Michael Crabtree's jersey.
Yeah, that still counts because it's before the ball is thrown. If the ball is in the air and interference, the tip ball eliminates that. So the Rams, with a couple big penalties. 49ers on the 2. 42 seconds to go, down 3. Rolling, firing, Crabtree.
Not in.
Did not get there.
The clock's running. The clock is running as well.
Clock is ticking. 28 seconds now. They're not going to call timeout.
I think there's a question whether he caught that or not.
Let's see. Now the whistle blows. The clock's
The previous play is under review.
You've got to look at it. Clock's all the way down to 19 seconds. Let's see.
See Crabtree's hands underneath the ball, and then that ball comes loose. It squirts loose and touches the ground at that point. It'll be interesting to see if that stands as a call, as a catch.
It touched the ground, but I don't know that it moved. Let's see. They said it was a catch. Now watch when he turns over. Yeah, it's tough. Tough to tell whether he regathered it on the turn.
The interesting thing, they might be better off not having it be a catch because they gain about 10 seconds back on this clock with the incomplete pass.
You're right. Mike Pereira is watching from LA. Mike, what are you seeing here?
Couple of things. Number one, does he have control of the ball first? Tucked in his arm, kind of in the elbow area, lodged in there. Does he maintain control of the ball? Even though the ball touches the ground, does he have control first? Okay, he gets it here, tucked away there. Ball's going to roll in there. Now, does he lose possession? Here's the deal now. Remember, he's not touched and knocked back into the field of play. So the second question is going to be, is it in fact a touchdown, which I don't think it is. I think the ruling of short is the correct ruling. So that's what they're looking at. And again, I'm not sure you have enough to overturn it. Watch control here. Locked in the elbow and the forearm. Yes, going to roll on the ground, but does he maintain that control when he rolls over? I think he does. I think this would be hard to overturn the call on the field.
That's a great explanation, Mike. And John, I think you're right. It almost doesn't do them any good. I mean, they gain a yard, but they lost, 15, 20 seconds on the clock. There's 19 seconds left. They've got one timeout. And so that is the case. But as soon as they get through with this, if they say indeed the call is confirmed, I think put the ball down and run that clock.
Yeah, and the reason it's taken a little bit longer, because Mike said there's a lot of things to look at.
Yeah.
First of all, is it a touchdown? Second of all, is it even a catch? The time on the clock, there's a lot going on, and Jerome Boger is here with his call.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands, and there will be no adjustment to the game clock. Second down.
But now the 49ers going to get up on that football. 19 seconds on the clock. When they spot it, the clock will run.
The Niners have one timeout left.
Oh, you know what? He rolled out of bounds there. So they say he went out of bounds, John, so the clock will not run. Big package for San Francisco. Down by 3. I think they're just making sure on the clock thing, but it had to be that they ruled that he went out of bounds indeed with possession, which should be the call. 19 seconds left. 49ers going for the win. Kaepernick going to throw it. Pressure, throwing out of the end zone. Laurinaitis came on the pressure, and now a third down and goal.
You know what's interesting there, Cap? For years, we've seen the 49ers as a tough-minded team. We're going to get 1 yard if we need it. And I think that's an indictment on their O-line. They have lost confidence in this offensive line, not only in the pass game, in the run game. You're throwing play action with 1 yard left. It's really interesting.
Anquan Boldin not in the game right now. Jumbo formation to the line quick. They're going to try and sneak it. Kaepernick, did he get in? No signal. Clock ticking. 3. No signal yet. They got to call a timeout.
Laurinaitis has the ball.
Laurinaitis has the ball out of the back. Rams have the football. Oh my! He fumbled the ball right there, it looks like. They never signal touchdown. The clock is at 2, but I never saw a stoppage of the clock.
And it's so big that they called Rams football on the field because, again, in these plays, it's so hard to see the. There the ball's out. Laurinaitis comes up with it.
The Rams with a goal line stand with 2 seconds to go. Oh, he never had it, John. He got it. He did get it there, but then lost it again.
Good. Again, Kaepernick playing his first game with Marcus Martin, the rookie, at center.
Now, they're going to look at this, obviously, and boy, I mean, how do you tell? Let's see. Maybe we get an idea here. See if he indeed somehow got over. Now, he
the previous play
back
is
possession.
under review.
And Mike, I mean, how in the world do you tell if he got over the goal line before fumbling here?
Well, you don't. I don't see how you can, because even though he never got the snap, and you know he did get the ball back, but it looks like it does come loose before the knee is down. And then remember here, since they ruled that St. Louis had recovered the fumble, there is no clear recovery in this scrum of when St. Louis first got the ball, so you could never change that aspect of the play. And watch the ball get punched out here. You can see right here where the ball gets out. Now, unless they can find some video that shows that the knee is down, number one, and that number two, that he broke the plane, then I don't see how it can reverse it.
I think it's pretty impossible to tell. I mean, it's quite possible, John, that he did break the plane. But we're showing you all the looks that we have.
The one thing you can,
sorry, Mike,
you can clearly see from the back side that the knees weren't down.
Right.
I mean, the knees were up. The knees didn't get down. But in that mess right there,
bodies all around.
And
How are
even
you
the
going to
shot
overturn
from looking
that?
inside, you can't overturn
You
that.
can't.
I don't think there's any way you can overturn that.
I mean, considering that Laurinaitis came out with the ball and they ruled Rams football, I mean, it is possible that he broke the plane. There's just no way to see.
You know, and a real smart play by Laurinaitis, not only to get the ball, but stand up and bring it out of the pile, because then the referee had nothing. He's looking for Kaepernick's spot. Instead, he sees Laurinaitis with the ball. They rule it as such, and like Mike said, I think that's going to be impossible to overturn.
How about the fact that
this is the...
let's see. We're going to get the call. Jerome Boger heading out to the field, and here we go. This will be the game.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands as called. Fumble, will come in the end zone for a touchback. First down, St. Louis.
Wow. And so just when it looked like the 49ers were going to punch it in with seconds left to win it, the Rams hold. Greg Williams' defense comes up huge at the biggest point of the game. A goal line stand, a fumble recovery by James Laurinaitis, a D that had 8 sacks, and they stun the 49ers here today.
That loss is going to hurt the San Francisco 49ers, but they were outplayed by a team that was decimated by injuries, had rookies all over this field. The Rams came in their house and beat them.
13-10. St. Louis over San Francisco today. What a finish. What a wild finish. Kaepernick distraught over the final results. We'll come back and put a bow on this one. The Rams with a big upset in Santa Clara. 13-10 your final.